If you want to make some picks on your favorite sports, check out Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game where you choose higher or lower on between 2 to 8 players and can win up to 325 times your entry. And using code ZIRK when you sign up, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
You can now get your free BND Super Bowl champion as of today. Let's talk about the best ones to pick. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Alvo for being a part of the Nota Gang. If you guys want a chance to check out the next video, drop a like in the vid. Make sure you guys are subbed to the channel. Notification bell and comment below. Nota Gang. Also, guys, today is Thursday, which means we have the big game coming up in just 3 days on Sunday. And if you guys check out Underdog Fantasy right now, use the code ZIRK. This is your last chance to get on the NFL season. And only when you guys sign up using code ZIRK, you're going to get 2.5 free picks and up to $1,000 in bonus funds. That's not it, though. Make sure you guys check out the Underdog lobby. I have a boosted pick pack you guys can copy with one pick that personally I put $1,000 on to win over $3,000 if this hits. We have been dominating the NFL playoffs. Hopefully we can close it out with a big day. That's not it, though. Also, you guys have a no sweat token live in your Underdog lobby. Make sure to use this. If your pick loses, you get the money back as bonus funds. Follow me over on Twitter for all my picks today with NBA. Last night we cashed in for an over $300 W. Hope we can do the same today. For those of you guys that don't know, the way to actually get your free 95 overall Super Bowl champion, by the way, is going to be from the Super Bowl Field Pass. There now is enough XP to actually finish out that Field Pass, so you can definitely get that done today. That being said, I do want to let you guys know, obviously, it's only the champions, not the limiteds, but the pack should have both the Super Bowl past and the Super Bowl present players in them. There's a lot to talk about, though, when it does come to these in terms of the best ones to take, because one thing you guys got to remember, and we'll talk about this more in depth, is that these Super Bowl present players have objectives that they can get done during the Super Bowl to get even better, which is something that I will talk about with why I have certain players in certain positions, like with Jalen Hurts here. If the Eagles have 3+ rushing touchdowns, he gets all of these abilities for -1 AP. So Gunslinger is going to be 1 AP, Truz will be 1 AP, and then he'll get 0 AP Jukebox if he rushes for 30+ yards in the first half, which on Underdog, I believe his yardage line is set at around 30 for the entire game. And then also when it does come right here, he will get additionally 1 AP Hot Route Master if he throws for over 300 yards. So that is another thing to kind of keep in mind, which I did factor in when it comes to this. Some people may choose to actually wait until after the Super Bowl to get their free champion to kind of factor that in, or you can go ahead and get your free player now. And also don't forget, guys, on the 13th, on February 13th, these players do lose that starting on Super Bowl X Factor, which does kind of bring down the value of them, and you have to remember, you're taking them as BND. Also, guys, I do want to mention this because a lot of people have been asking me about this. If you did save your rewards from the Super Bowl head-to-head event, by the way, those packs also updated, so you have the Super Bowl present players in those. All right, so starting off, guys, let's go over these players here, and again, I'm going to talk about all the game day stuff and where I have players ranked, whatever, but at the bottom of this list, but still on the list, is Jalen Hurts. Now, the main reason for this, guys, is simply put, it's a quarterback. And when you take a quarterback as BND, you know, you really don't want to do so right now, in my personal opinion, because in terms of how long will Jalen Hurts be this good, well, it's not super long because, of course, one of the main things that makes this Jalen Hurts card so good is, of course, getting those Super Bowl X Factors. You can rock out with QB Playmaker, you could rock out with Omaha. There's a lot of different abilities you can go with on this card that make him even better. But I do want to mention, Jalen Hurts is one of the absolute best QBs in the game. You can actually run on Jalen Hurts right now, backyard quarterback and conductor, for a total of 3 AP. Which essentially is Master Tactician, but you get it for 3 AP. That's absolutely amazing, and that's not even factoring in the fact that you can get Gift Wrap for 0, Gunslinger for 2, Truz for 2, and then also depending on what goes on during the game, you could possibly get those abilities for even cheaper. But again, this is a quarterback, and you will be stuck with him for the rest of the year, so just thinking long-term here, I don't think taking a quarterback is the right move. Up next, guys, we have Ray Nitschke, and I gotta say, this card is actually amazing. This seriously is an amazing card. Also, I do also want to mention here, don't forget this. When it comes to those Super Bowl present cards, they also have a strategy card right now, which is also giving them +1 speed. So you have them with another speed on top of that with the Super Bowl present cards for, again, the next week. But it's only for a week. You got to think long term unless you are thinking next week with these BNDs. But Ray Nitschke is definitely the guy that I would go with if you want to go ahead and get a user linebacker. You could also go with the Eagles outside linebacker, but I like Ray Nitschke more. He's 6'3". He's got 95 speed. If you add his 85 overall to him, though, you guys can see you actually get +1 speed to 96. And then he also gets mid-zone KO for 0 AP if you guys add his 92 overall in there. The only thing is he's 95 speed with 91 excel. The agility is only an 86, but he has 95 change of direction. But again, the abilities are great. He's got 95 zone, great block shed, good run stuffer. He can even pass rush. He can really do it all, but it is a middle linebacker, and yeah, they will get outdated pretty quick. And of course, I have to include an offensive lineman on this list, and actually the only offensive lineman champion in this promo is Larry Little. But I do want to mention this, and a main reason why he's not higher up on my list. As you guys know, I love to put O-linemen high on these lists because obviously BNDs, you could just rock out with them. He's small, just like his last name, Little. He's 265 pounds. That is very small. Obviously, he's an older offensive lineman, and weight does matter around that O-line. Given, though, he is pretty fast, and if you add in that 85 overall, he goes up to 74 speed with over 80 acceleration, which is nice to have in a right guard, but he is tiny. Next up, guys, we have Nolan Smith with 94 speed, which again, if you just add training to him right now, that is a big thing to remember as well. With just a total of 10 training, these guys all get +2 speed, including the strategy card there, so they get +1 and then another +1 basically. So really, Nolan Smith for the next week here is going to be 96 speed, but then of course, once that strategy card goes away, still be 95 speed. It's just incredibly fast with that 96 block shot as well and that 96 finesse move. But in terms of abilities on this card, he is not as good as another pass rusher that is available, which we're about to talk about here in just a moment. He does get Fearmonger for 4 AP, which is really, really nice, but what you really want there, of course, is Unstoppable Force. And in order to get Unstoppable Force as just a regular ability for 4 AP on Nolan Smith, which would be incredible, you do have to have him get 2 sacks and 5+ tackles in the Super Bowl. And I'll be honest, I just don't see that happening personally. So if he somehow did, I will tell you this, if he somehow managed to get 2 sacks and 5+ tackles in the Super Bowl, this card is gonna be ridiculous. But a card that is ridiculous, and because of that Unstoppable Force for 4 AP, is DeMarcus Ware, guys. DeMarcus Ware, he has 93 speed, but again, really 94 speed when you add an 85 overall to him. Then you add in the 89 and the 92, and yes, I do know that obviously that does cost a decent chunk of coins to do so, but if you're taking a card as BND, you're gonna max him out anyways, right? And then he gets Unstoppable Force right there for 4 AP. So D-Ware, I would say in terms of the pass rushers, he's got the 97 block shed, the 97 finesse move, the power move. He's got good strength on him. He's got great speed, and he already has Unstoppable Force. I'm taking D-Ware over Nolan. Then, guys, we get into my top 5 players, and starting off at number 5, we've got Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce with 95 speed, by the way, is, I believe, tied for the fastest tight end in the game. Again, though, +1 speed when you add the training to him, then another speed when the strategy card. So really, he's got 97 speed for the next week. That's obviously very big. He's 6'5". He's got great route running, good hands. He's good after the catch, 72 run block as well. In terms of his just normal abilities, he does get grab and smash for 3 AP, red zone threat for 1, and tight end apprentice for 0. But really, the biggest one is going to be if he can unlock his red zone threat ability for 0 AP. In order to get that, he has to have a 20+ yard touchdown catch or 2 touchdowns. Not saying it's gonna happen, but it is Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl. That is certainly likely that it could happen. Not saying the odds are against it, to be honest with you, but it definitely could happen. And we have my number 4 player, guys, and a big reason why he's only at number 4 is simply because he's a safety, and kind of similar to Ray Nitschke. You're getting these cards, but they might get outdated pretty quickly by other cards coming up. And John Lynch here with that +1 speed is going to be at 96 speed when you add that 85 overall. But then he gets pick artist for 0 AP, mid-zone KO for 1 AP. He's 6'2", 220 pounds. He's got over 90 man coverage at exactly 90, 96 zone, 98 hit power, 80 block shed. I mean, again, this is just a really good card. Even gets avalanche for 2 AP as well when you add in that 92 overall. But yeah, it's a safety. So in terms of being a depth position, kind of depends on how you look at it. And now, guys, we get into my top 3 players, and I gotta say, my number 2 and 3 it really comes down to, do you care more about this next week that we have here and getting more use out of these cards while they are so good, or are you thinking even longer term, like a month or so, right? And you'll see what I mean by that. But right here, we have a wide receiver, Devontae Smith. And again, with adding a little bit of training into him and the strategy card, we're talking 98 speed for the next week. After that, he'll be down to 97 speed. Then he has 96 acceleration. He's 6 feet tall. He's got good route running. He's got good after the catch ability as well. He's very, very good. In his game day bucket, guys, he does get jukebox for 0, short elite for 2, and double me for 4 AP. Double me is very good, but he is a shorter receiver at 6 feet tall, which can kind of affect that a little bit. And in terms of him potentially getting any sort of other upgrades here, he would actually get -1 AP to double me, so that'd be only 3 AP, or the short elite would be 1 AP if the Eagles complete 3 20-plus yard receptions. I'm going to be honest, I actually think that's going to happen. So I like that a lot, that he would actually get even cheaper abilities. Then if he somehow has 50-plus receiving yards in the second half, he gets 0 AP outside apprentice. And the final one is if he scores a 60-plus yard TD. I just don't see that happening. Or he gets 100-plus receiving yards, he'll get an additional game day bucket and 1 AP mid in elite. To be honest, I think the first one's probably going to happen, so the abilities that he has will be a little bit cheaper. But yeah, I don't see the other ones actually happening there. But this Devontae overall is a great receiver. He's a depth position piece. He's just really good, especially for the next week with that strategy card. I think long term, I would rather go with wide receiver Deion Sanders over Devontae Smith. But again, for the next week, Devontae is better simply because he's 1 speed faster. Now, after that week, though, both of these cards, once you add in the 85 to Deion, and now, of course, the training onto the Devontae Smith, both are going to be 97 speed. But Deion has 99 acceleration. His route running is very similar, catching similar as well. But after the catch, 99 change of direction, 97 juke move, 98 break tackle. This is the best kick returner in the game, and you have him on your team as BND, so obviously he'll be there for a very long time. In terms of his abilities, he does get Yak 'em Up for 4 AP, Red Zone Threat for 0, and Jukebox for 0 AP, which are all very, very, very good abilities. As you guys know, Yak 'em Up, you basically break the first tackle every single time after the catch, which is really big. So for me personally, I would rather go with Deion Sanders, seeing as also 6 feet tall, with the 99 acceleration, the kick return ability, the punt return ability that you get with Deion Sanders, having very similar stats to Devontae, but I would rather have Yak 'em Up, to be honest, than have the double me for 3 AP potentially, if Devontae does get that -1 AP discount there for the 3 20-plus yard receptions by the Eagles, which I do think will happen, but it's really just a matter of, if he was 6'4", 6'5", I would say, maybe more of a talk here, but I'd rather go with Deion. In my opinion, guys, overall, the #1 player, and this is going to be the player that I'm going to take, is cornerback Deion Sanders. I think cornerback Deion is definitely the move. Reasoning, of course, again, it's Deion Sanders. He plays good. He always plays amazing at corner. Take a look at just the base stats. Again, add that 85 overall, he's going to be 97 speed, 96 excel, 96 man, 94 zone coverage. You know he plays good. Always, it's Deion Sanders, but he gets universal coverage for 3 AP. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Universal coverage for 3 AP is absolutely ridiculous. You can see as well with the other abilities, he does get pick guard for 0 as well. And of course, deep out zone KO for 1 AP when you add in that 89 overall. But yeah, I think the universal coverage, it's just, you gotta have it out there. For 3 AP, to have that on, that is absolutely crazy. So in my opinion, the #1 player is definitely cornerback Deion. Aside from that, you go with wide receiver Deion, Devontae Smith, or take your pick of any of the players. But yeah, cornerback Deion to me, that's the #1 guy. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to drop a like on the video, and of course that sub button down below. Make sure to check out Underdog Fantasy, use code ZIRK, follow me over on Twitter for my picks. Don't miss out on the exclusive 2 code ZIRK 0.5 free picks, only when you guys sign up with code ZIRK. And if you guys enjoyed this video, check out these.